Hey folks, welcome to Market Technical Analysis by InTheMoneyStocks.com, your leader in pure technical analysis, avoiding all that Wall Street hype. Today is Friday, May 9th, 2008. Well, again we had a down day in the markets, although it wasn't a drastic down day. I'll go over what the indexes closed down in a minute, but first let's discuss a little bit of announcement type stuff. Number one, we've scheduled a new apprentice webinar for a week from Saturday. Again, you can check that out by going to inthemoneystocks.com and clicking on webinar, and you can sign up right through there. This is where we tell all the secrets, guys. This is where you guys are going to find out a lot of the stuff that we use, how we've known the market's going to be moving like it has, how we've been so accurate. A lot of this stuff that we'll talk about in this webinar will be that. So I do encourage you guys to come sign up. It's well worth it. You will trade so much differently after you take it. I can't even express to you. Everyone that's taken it has had rave reviews about it and traded so much better. We've been first-hand experience to that, as many of those that took it are in the chat room and doing 10 times better. So over the course of your lifetime, you will do much more money by taking this webinar. All right, again, go to inthemoneystocks.com and click on the webinar page and click on the sign-up date. It's a week from Saturday. All right, on to the markets, guys. Let's get a little business going here, as we saw the Dow climbing down about 121 points, or just under 1%. The Nasdaq was down about 6 points, or just 0.2%, and the S&P was down about 9.5 points, or 0.67%. Now, the interesting thing here in the markets today, we had some AIG news yesterday that dragged the markets down. You had some oil continuing to climb today, and I am going to tell you guys that as of now, we are thinking that next week will be a down week for oil. We do think oil is near a top here, and it looks like it's a decent shorting opportunity with a tight stop kept in place. So we are saying that at this stage of the game, it looks like a decent shorting opportunity here as the USO climbed to another record high over $102 a barrel, and we'll click on that quickly. And you can see here it closed at 102.03, and on the daily chart, this extension move is in our opinion, an exhaustion move. This is what many people call a bottoming tail, but it's not. A bottoming tail can only occur at the lower end of the chart like this. On a topping area, this is often a signal, and we use this as a great contrarian indicator, as amateurs think this is a signal that's going higher. In fact, we believe that is a signal that it is near a top and the market is exhausting out here. All right, so I want to make that clear, is that many people misconstrue this as a bullish signal when you have the tail at the bottom and it shows buying there pushing it up. In fact, we believe that is a contrarian indicator there, that is a possibility for a move down in the near term. So we do think that next week oil will top out as early as Monday or Tuesday, and a possible move down is coming very soon. All right, let's click on the ES and go over the intraday, and I'm going to get my trend tool ready to rock and roll here. What you saw today in the markets was a kind of a choppy day, very light volume again, and Fridays lately have been that way. There's not a lot of economic news going on. Oil continues to rise here, and it was up above 126 today at the close. A very rough move on oil, as many things out there are going to take hits. These oil prices are not going to help the airlines. They're going to hurt the carriers such as FedEx, which, by the way, did just warn after the bell here, and that is going to drag on the markets probably early on Monday. So again, there's some very key interesting things going on out there with oil, and it is hurting the economy. There's no doubt about it. And those of us in it, we're discussing today, we would not be shocked to see some catalyst for a drop next week in oil. Oil has gotten too high, too fast here, and does need to pull in. So watch for that catalyst. It could be a government, someone saying something in the government about how they're going to do this or that. There's a lot of possibilities out there, but the USO is very toppy here, and the DUG, which is 2 times short the oil and gas stocks, does seem like it is finding a nice little bottom here in the chart for a possible move up. Although remember, that's not shorting the commodity oil and gas, that's shorting the stocks, oil and gas, which can still move up if the markets are very bullish. So if we had a rally, they may still move up, which would mean the DUG would move lower. But again, in general, it moves with oil, a little bit with oil and the OIH, and you can look for that type of situation. So again, on the intraday, flipping back to the intraday ES chart, and this is the ES minis on the 10-minute, you can see it was a little bit of an up move here. We went right into this 200 moving average on the intraday, and then you had a big sell movement here, a little flip-flopping intraday as volume got lighter and lighter. And then towards the end of the day, we had a spike up and a sell-off into the close. So it was a very choppy trading day, but nonetheless, it was on the negative side as crude oil continues to rally, which is, again, putting a lot of pressure on anything that makes anything with these plastics, any carriers like airlines and shippers and all this other stuff. It's going to affect earnings eventually. So keep an eye on those next week. And also, as we say, look for a fall in oil. The solar stocks were on fire today also. Late in the day, they really started to rally, although we do think that if you get a fall in oil, the solar stocks will decline very quickly, and you should be on very careful alert to be careful on those in case of a decline in oil. Okay? Looking at the daily chart, let's get onto the daily chart here in this video, and what you're going to look at here is the move down that we've seen continuing here. All right? As we know, we called the turn date. The turn date, by the way, was right here, starting right here on the 2nd of May, which is the high right here. Notice the high was our turn date start. The turn date lasted from this day to this day to this day. All right? And notice how it was a topping pattern that we had called for on the turn date, which again is a change in polarity, and the markets had basically topped out in this range. You had to move to the downside, then you had to spike up, kind of shifting the sentiment back to bullish, which was a direct sign that the markets were probably going to sell, especially with the 200 moving average above here. Now you've seen the sell-off continuing. You got the big sell day after that move up, and the following day was a little down in the SPY, and today again we were down on the SPY, although we are sitting right on support now. All right, so keep in mind, folks, the 20 moving average was touched today on the downside. Our call for a short was right up here, and look at that move down so far. Again, another accurate, very, very accurate call by InTheMoneyStocks.com. All right, we are continuing to watch for possible support here, but over the course of the next, let's say, couple weeks, we are expecting much more downside. All right, this is not the little move here that we've seen here. This is a bigger move, and it looks like it's just getting underway, although you may see a small bounce right around this area. I think there is some decent support right around here, so it could go a little lower on Monday. It wouldn't shock me to see a little bit of a gap down or a bigger sell day, but it is very possible that over the next few days you see a little pause or just continue hard selling. Any way you cut it, InTheMoneyStocks.com's view is that we are going down more. So keep that in mind, folks. You may see a push as low as the 50 moving average before this is even over, and at that point we'll reevaluate and get you guys a better price on where this market is heading. All right? And again, I pointed out some interesting characteristics. We had some negative divergences yesterday showing up, which also helped us call this move up, along with our proprietary techniques, which we will divulge some of these in the webinar. Not all of them, obviously, but some of them, some of the easier ones to understand and calculate. We will go over those as well. So I definitely encourage you to come join that webinar coming up a week from tomorrow. Okay, so we got the SPY figured out here for the most part. You can see again the light volume trend right here for the last few days, and the light volume trend just continues. A lot of money sitting on the sidelines, a lot of money not paying attention here. Now, the one thing I do want to draw attention to is while the NASDAQ was still down today, and again, you've seen the sell-off on the NASDAQ, and we're looking at the NASDAQ daily chart now, what you can see is that the NASDAQ actually was a little stronger than the overall market. You had the Dow and the S&P down, 0.5% to a full percent today, and the NASDAQ was just down 0.2%. And again, we've been talking, and this is something we mentioned in about 2 weeks to 3 weeks ago in our videos here, that we saw money flow coming over to technology, away from ag plays, away from fuel plays, away from some of these other plays, and we continue to believe that's happening, and it's showing up in today's action. You had Nvidia having a nice earnings day. You had a couple other stocks strong today. Although there were key sectors we mentioned in yesterday's video that showed weakness, and we want to point those out. Yesterday in the video, we highlighted Apple Computer as being very toppy, along with Baidu and Google. And let's take a look at how those did today. All right. We saw Apple continuing to sell off today. We noted this big bar here of the choppiness signaling a near-term top. Then you have a little bit of a price decline. Again, Apple was down $1.61 today. Watch for this break of this low right here on Apple from this day. Should it close on the daily below, then you may see continued selling in that, okay? Now, a break of that intraday and it closes above may not signal too much, but again, on the daily, if you break below that, you may see Apple fall down to this area. On Baidu, B-I-D-U, we mentioned it was toppy yesterday and may want to touch the 20 moving average. Well, guess what? It touched that 20 moving average today. Google, we've mentioned many times that this was getting very extended after a huge move up on earnings. Sure enough, it's coming down to settle right above this 200 moving average. Very nice there. You may see it hold some support in this area as the 20 moving average moves up. Should that 20 come right into that 200, that would be very, very nice support. But right now it's too far away to estimate that, and we'll have to continue to watch it. But a good pullback of about $10 in Google today, and we'll continue again, as I said, to watch that. All right. Again, as I mentioned, solar stocks were up today very nicely. They really started to run late in the day, as you can see here on the Intraday FSLR. That's First Solar's chart. You can also see that same type of run on the SOLF, and look at that. Late in the day run on these solar stocks. Now we're not a big bull. We're not bulls on these at all, and I want to make that clear. We do feel that some of these stocks are setting up for a fall if it coincides, if we do get the fall we're expecting in oil. So again, when oil falls, generally alternate energy falls because it means that more people will use the oil because it's cheaper, and vice versa. When oil rises, more people go to alternate energy because it's cheaper. It's a supply and demand, and which one's better at the time, comparative advantage to cost. So keep that in mind as well. All right, guys, that's all for today. Come join the chat room for Monday. Come join the swing trade alerts and the consulting. Also do the webinar. I can't stress that enough. Have a wonderful weekend. We'll talk to you soon.